friends, welcome back to Bucket List Homestead and my kitchen. And today we're going to get a little jump start on our Christmas baking. I know a lot of my American subscribers and friends and family have not even had American Thanksgiving yet, but we've had Thanksgiving over a month ago. Remembrance Day has come and gone. We are ready to start the holiday season here. And this year especially, I'm feeling very nostalgic. I kind of want a very simple, easy Christmas this year. Originally, I was gonna go all out and do a huge Christmas because we, God willing, really think this will be our last Christmas in this home. And I thought, let's just bring out every decoration and trim every piece of this house and go out with a bang kind of thing. And then in August, we lost my grandmother, my father's mother, who I was very close to and meant the world to me. And unfortunately, 3 weeks later, very unexpectedly and suddenly, we lost my father on September 11th. And I'm sure the need for feeling a simple, nostalgic Christmas is because of those losses. I am sure of it. So that being said, I am going to be doing a lot of videos, especially for Vlogmas, that are more of a homegrown, homebody, old school Christmas this year. And one of those is going to be doing certain vintage, old school, my favorite cookies or treats that I grew up with for Christmas. And tonight we are going to get a jump start, like I said, on our baking. And I'm going to be making a recipe that I found from this new book I picked up at Ollie's when we were in the States called pineapple bars. And they sound very much like the pineapple bars that my babysitter Diane Kraft, that was her name. She was a second mother to my sister and I. She was a baker, and this is where I learned how to bake, especially breads and rolls. The lady just, you could not, nobody could make better bread or rolls than Diane could. And at Christmas, she always did up huge platters that she not only sold, but would give away to friends and family. And these sound very much like the recipe that she would make. They sound very, very much like it. The only thing missing, I think she put in them was cherries, which I'm not gonna put cherries in either, but I'm pretty sure there were cherries in hers. But they're called pineapple bars. And like I said, they sound very much like the ones I grew up having. So we are gonna try them and freeze, and we're also gonna freeze these. So everything I'm gonna be making over the next week or two, I'm going to freeze to pull out over December. Because by December 1st, I want any decorating done, wrapping is going to be done, like I am going to enjoy the Christmas season in December, and I'm going to be busy with all of you doing Vlogmas every day. So simplicity is the theme of our Christmas this year. I do have a little bit more decorating I want to do. We still have to decorate our trees, which we'll be doing this weekend, but for the most part, a lot of the totes are staying in the garage this year. I just decided that's what we're going to do. So you are going to need 2 eggs, 1.5 cups of sugar, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, a 20-ounce can of crushed pineapple with its juice, 2¼ cups of flour, 1½ teaspoons of baking soda, and 1½ cups of flaked coconut. This is optional, but Diane's had coconut in them, so we're definitely putting coconut in it. And this is the Camino organic, no sugar added, desiccated coconut. And then another optional ingredient is 1/2 cup of English walnuts, but we're not going to be putting them in. And we also will need a baking pan, greased. There's also going to be a glaze going on top. We will make that while these are in the oven, when the bars go in the oven. Okay, so first we need to combine eggs, our 2 eggs, the sugar, okay, I'm just putting a splash in. And we're going to get that stirred up. Okay, those are combined. Now we're going to add the vanilla or the pineapple with the juice. And this might look a little strange. I actually didn't have crushed pineapple. I had pineapple tidbits. So I just ran my pineapple through my quick little Ninja blender. And I probably went about one splits too long, but that's okay. So now I have crushed pineapple. Next is the flour, and I have the baking soda in with the flour. We're going to give that a stir. And now we're going to add our 1.5 cups of coconut. My oven is preheated to 350 degrees. We are going to bake these, it says 20 to 25 minutes. I am going to start with 15 minutes because my oven does seem to bake things much quicker than recipes are saying lately. So, into the oven. So while those are baking, we're going to get started on the glaze. And I'm going to say this glaze is a little strange sounding to me, but we're going to go with it. And for this, you're going to need 3¼ cups of sugar, 1/4 cup of evaporated milk. Now the recipe calls for 1/2 cup of margarine. I'm using butter. We don't have margarine. And 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And I have all those ingredients right here in my pot. And it says to boil this and then cook for 30 seconds. It's coming up to a boil. I just want to mention that we did lose Diane about 20 years ago. She had diabetes, and at her son's wedding reception, she actually stepped on a nail at the reception and her foot never healed. And Diane, being Diane, put off going to the hospital for a long time. And when she finally went, things were not good, and they were never able to bring her around with the diabetes. She got very much infected, and even having her foot amputated is still, the infection just went through her body. So unfortunately we lost her. But when I was pregnant with Grace, she was still here with us, and when she was coming to my baby shower, I called her and I said, the only gift I want is I wanted a couple of the different things she used to make. The mocha cakes, I absolutely loved them. There's no mocha in them. Why they're called mocha cakes, I don't know, but there's no mocha. I loved them. I wanted those. I wanted these pineapple bars, and I wanted her cinnamon rolls. And that's what she made for my baby shower with Grace, and they were delicious. So I have very, very fond memories of baking with Diane. She would always put Christmas music shows on with us and perform with us. She always was down for that. There wasn't a person in our town who did not like Diane. She loved yard sailing. Again, something else I picked up from her, thrifting and yard sailing. She loved it. She would take, she had 2 boys, and my sister and I, and she'd haul us around in her station wagon and car and truck, and we'd go around yard sailing when she would watch us some Saturdays when my mother had to work and my father had to work. So yeah, I love to know any of the traditions you remember from a child when you all were younger for Christmas, and are you still doing any of them? And what do you think of a simpler, easier Christmas? I think we get, especially me, for years, I love Christmas, I do. I feel very stressed and responsible making sure my family has the best Christmas they ever can. And as silly as it sounds, I do. And I just, when the kids were little, I wanted to make sure that they had many, many memories of being little at Christmas and the fun things we would do. And they're older now, and I need to tell myself, it's not fair to me either if I can't enjoy Christmas because I'm so stressed out and worried that the family having a great Christmas. So I really am taking that to heart this year. We don't have to have the Instagram, Pinterest-worthy Christmases. We don't. And there's nothing wrong with it if you do have them. There is nothing wrong. If that's how you enjoy doing Christmas and you love it, go for it. What I'm saying is I haven't been loving it the last couple of years. These huge over-the-top, making sure everybody has everything, doing every single thing that we always do every single year. We're just not doing that year. And I think it's probably going to be one of our best Christmases, despite the fact that we also are grieving this Christmas. So our butter's almost melted. We're going to be boiling here pretty soon. And I have to say the smell of the bars is incredible. They smell so good. This has started to boil, so we are just going to cook this for 30 seconds. And that is 30 seconds. So we're just going to remove it from the heat and set it aside, and we'll come back to that in a little bit. I'm just going to check on the bars. Oh, they're puffing out good. Okay, we have a few minutes for the bars, and then I'm going to clean up a little bit, and when we come back, we'll get ready to put our icing on top of them. It took 25 minutes, and I totally remember Diane's looking like this, a little bit brown around the edges, so some of them are crispy around the edges. So I did test them, everything came out clean. I'm just gonna let it set just for 2 or 3 minutes. It does say to put the glaze on when this is warm, but right now it's hot. So we're gonna wait, and I did heat this up again, and I'll probably have to heat it up one more time, just because the sugar was starting to crystallize a bit, so I just warmed it up again. So here's our predicament. I'm just showing this recipe to David, and it says, spread glaze over top while still warm. So David just mentioned, do they mean while the glaze is still warm? Or the bars are still warm? I'm like, well, that's a good question, because I don't know. I'm just gonna go with my instincts and say, well, the glaze is still warm. So I'm probably gonna have to warm that up again. We're gonna let this rest for at least 10-15 minutes before I'm touching it with the glaze. So we'll see you back here in a few minutes. So this has been sitting for about 20 minutes, and I did reheat the glaze just a little bit. This is a lot of glaze. I don't know if I'm gonna use all of it. And it's pretty sweet. So I think we're just gonna take it easy on it here. Should let this cool just a little bit, but I really want to taste these for you guys, so we're just going to cut out. So this makes 3½ dozen squares, and this is exactly how Diane would cut them, just little squares. That's really good. It tastes like Diane's. So we've got to start on our Christmas baking. I'm definitely gonna leave these cool completely. I will cut them in squares, flash freeze them on a cookie sheet, and then once they're frozen, I'll put them in a Ziploc bag, and they'll be ready to go in a couple of weeks for Christmas. I'm sure you'll all enjoy them for your Christmas treats too. Until then, friends, take care, God bless, and we'll see y'all soon.